Hello folks, happy Monday. It's Ash here from the Conscious Jungle and from Garfield Community Garden. Cooking a rhubarb crumble today and a yummy vanilla custard. I do most of my cooking at home in a Thermomix, the latest model, a TM6, and the classic rhubarb crumble that I'm going to be cooking is actually a guided recipe, which means that the recipe is all inbuilt in the machine and I'm just going to click next and follow along to what it's telling me to do. So I'm going to get straight into it. Just let me get out of this recipe because I was cooking some soup. We're having soup for dinner and rhubarb crumble for dessert. So I'm just going to go into my week, and I've already selected what I'm cooking for the day, rhubarb crumble. So I'm going to click start cooking, and I've already got my oven preheated to 180 degrees. I'm going to put 30 grams of almonds into the machine. It's going to scale up for me as I go. That's way too many. They came out really quickly. That was like 60 grams of almonds. There we go. That's more like it. 30 grams of almonds. This is going to be really noisy. I'm just going to mill this up. I've put whole almonds in. I'm going to mill that up into an almond flour. So apologies for the noise. It'll only be 6 seconds. Bear with me. So that's done, and I forgot to take the butter out of my fridge. So it's calling for 100 grams of butter, so I'm just going to go grab that. So I buy my butter in paper wrappers, and I save those in my fridge and use them as liners for cake pans and cupcakes. I use them as baking sheets in the oven as well. Just putting the paper side down and the buttered side up against what you're cooking. You can use those multiple times, and then once you're done you can compost them. So that's a nice little tip for if you're looking to try and minimize your waste or make the most out of different products rather than having single use, trying to get more uses out of each of the things that we're bringing into our home. So that's our almonds and our butter. And the recipe on here calls for 200 grams of flour, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of oats. I just really like oats on my crumble toppings, so that's what I'm going to do. Again, it's scaling up as I go, so I don't have to worry too much about measurements. So that's 100 grams of flour, and now I'm going to go in, just tear off my scale so that they say 0, so I know that I'm going in with the right amount, and 100 grams of oats. I just use whole oats. I don't buy any quick oats or anything like that, so when I buy the whole oats I can mill those up in my machine and turn those into quick oats so that I can cook them in the microwave if I want to. What's your favourite rhubarb or crumble or apple crumble toppings? I know a lot of people have like family recipes of crumble toppings. I'd love to know what your family crumble toppings are. So 100 grams of sugar. Where's my sugar? There it is. I only have one type of sugar in my house as well, just raw sugar. I really like to keep my pantry simple with the ingredients that I have. Rather than having heaps of different types of sugar, I just have the one and substitute recipes based on that one sugar that I've got. A tablespoon of vanilla. And a pinch of fine sea salt. What's everyone cooking at home tonight? Just going to whiz that one up. So we're just going to cream together and crumb together the butter and those flours. So rather than doing that in a mixer or a Thermomix, you could just have a big bowl with that and use your fingers and crumble it like you would like a scone dough or cookie dough, just to get that crumbing texture. Noisy again, sorry. Alright, so we're going to want to use a baking dish about 30 to 22 centimetres. That is our crumb topping. Ben's having chicken Kiev at his place tonight. That sounds yum. I'm just going to put my topping to the side here and get on with my rhubarb. Does everybody know what rhubarb looks like? Does anybody have rhubarb growing in their garden? I only recently put rhubarb in my garden. Last year when we moved to Bunyip, I put a bit of a call out on our local page, and one of the local cafes in Bunyip actually answered my call and took me to their sort of kitchen garden on the rooftop of the cafe, and I got a nice little chunk of rhubarb, a crown from their place. So that was winter last year, which is the perfect time to be putting rhubarb in your garden. So if you don't have rhubarb in your garden, now's a good time to make friends with somebody who does have rhubarb. Alright, I'm just grabbing another bowl and I'm popping that on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to weigh in our rhubarb. So for anyone that's not familiar with rhubarb, that's a rhubarb stalk. One thing I love about it is that it grows out of a crown in the ground like that, and you can just pull one strand off at a time. Very important to know the leaves of rhubarb are poisonous. So you take that and you get rid of that, because you do not want to make that mistake. You don't want to muck it up with silver beet or something like that. I held on to that one when I harvested the rhubarb just so I could show you about that leaf. But normally when I'm out picking the rhubarb, I pull it off as I go, because I just don't want to bring the leaf into my home at all. I have little boys that are so used to munching and nibbling in the garden as they go. So we have our rhubarb in a different garden bed, well away from anything else that's edible, so that they know that that is not something that they can go munching or nibbling on. So I'm just chopping up my rhubarb stalks. I've already pre-chopped a few. The reason I really love rhubarb crumble is it's so easy. You make your crumb, takes you 5 minutes, and then you've got your rhubarb there. So I'm just going to pour that in there. I don't know why I had another bowl. I thought I was going to be weighing it, but I know I'm using all of it. So all we're doing is chopping up our rhubarb in the bottom of our dish. Going to click next, and we're going to put 50 grams of sugar on top of our rhubarb. So I'm just going to sprinkle that around. I mean, it is quite a sweet dessert. There is like 150 grams of sugar going into this whole dish, but you know, if you divide that over the amount of people that it's going to feed, it's quite a large dish. You don't need a massive portion. Another thing that I like to add in is some orange juice. That's one of my grandma's sort of tricks, is to add rhubarb with a bit of orange juice. So in that goes. And the next thing that we want to do is just crumble over our topping, which is here. Crumble over our crumble. And it's so basic. So all you're really doing is just mixing up that crumble topping, bit of sugar on your rhubarb, and in it goes. My family is Scottish, and my gran has a lovely story about rhubarb, that she used to go out into her veggie patch and pick off a bit of a rhubarb stick, frond, what would you call it? Rhubarb stick, rhubarb frond, and they would get a bit of newspaper and they'd wrap it up into a cone, and it was called a poke. And they put a little bit of sugar in the bottom of the cone, and they get the rhubarb stick and they put it in and then suck all the juices out of the rhubarb. So that's something that I like to do with my kids as well, make them a wee poke, put some sugar in so that they can dip their rhubarb stick into. It's something that's really nice, a bit of a tradition that's gone on from our family, from something that my grandma used to do when she was a little girl in Scotland. That's it, 45 minutes going in the oven. So that gives us plenty of time to have our dinner and a little bit of a rest before our dessert is ready. Another thing that I would like to do tonight, because rhubarb crumble's delicious on its own, but what is even more delicious is rhubarb crumble with custard. So let's go all out. I'm feeling generous this Monday night. So again, this is a guided recipe. I've already got custard here, and I'm just going to click start cooking, and it's going to tell me what to do. It's asking me to put in some lemon zest. So I just use a peeler and peel off the zest off my lemon, and it's going to zest it up for me. So adding in 60 grams to 100 grams of sugar. I'm going to go on the lighter edge of that because I feel like the rhubarb crumble's already quite sweet, so I'll stick to that 60 grams there. Ben, you like my story about my grandma and her wee rhubarb poke? She loves it. It's one of my favourite stories. Gets me very nostalgic. So in with our sugar, in with our lemon zest, and 30 grams of corn flour. And we're just going to whiz that up. So that's going to mill our sugar, mill our lemon. So it's noisy again for 10 seconds. Bear with me. Okay, I'm going to scrape down the sides of my mixing bowl. I'll show you what that all looks like now. So that is our corn flour, our sugar and our lemon zest. And it smells so zesty. Yum-o. Now go on and tell me, how many of you cook custard out of those plastic packets that you get from the supermarket? Go on, tell me. Who does it? Full of preservatives, and once you see this, custard is so easy. Sugar, corn flour, eggs, milk, and you're done. Absolutely easy peasy. Don't need to go grab that box stuff. Once you make it yourself, you'll just realize how easy it is and how achievable. So 2 eggs. So the eggs and the corn flour are going to help thicken it. I'm just going to grab 500 grams of milk out of the fridge. Just grab that one out, making sure my scales are on 0. I can see what I'm doing. Alright, 500 grams of milk. And that is going to mix and heat for 7 minutes, on 90 degrees. So again, you can do your custard on a stove top, but once you have a crack at it, I swear to God, it's so simple. Corn flour, sugar. You don't have to add the lemon zest, that's just a preference. I like it a bit zesty. Yeah, a bit of sugar, eggs, corn flour and milk. It's really basic. You just give that a bit of a whisk up and you can whisk it on the pot. Difference is when you are doing custard on the stove top, you can't walk away. You have to keep whisking it. So that's why I love doing it in the Thermomix, because it's whisking it for me and I don't have to worry about it and I don't have to forget about it and burn it like I would often do in the past. Just going to put this milk back in the fridge. So that's us tonight, guys. I kept it really simple. I just wanted to bring you all back a bit of a family favourite, an old traditional one with the rhubarb. Tonight we're having a blended soup. I'll grab that and show you. A bit hard to see, I'll do this. We're having a blended soup. In that soup, it's really basic. I just cleaned out the bottom of my crisper and it was all the leaves and stalks of cauliflower and broccoli. When I use the florets, I just hold on to the stalks and the leaves. I harvested cauliflower from the garden today, Garfield Community Garden, that was bolting, and I wouldn't really want to use cauliflower that's bolted for, say, a cauliflower bake or to have it on the side of as a vegetable on its own. So that's where I use those little ugly veg and bits and pieces in my mixed blended vegetable soup. And I've been having a bit of a play with sourdough of late. If anybody's mastering sourdough, can you hit me up? Because I am not mastering it. It looks pretty on the outside, but it is lackluster on the inside. So anybody that's doing sourdough, let me know. I'd love to chat with you. I know Tash is doing sourdough, so maybe I should pick her brain about it. What have we got on for the rest of the week on A Guide to Cardinia TV, AGCT TV? Tomorrow night we have Tash at 5 p.m. cooking. Wednesday night I think we have Shoheli cooking. Thursday night we've got a new presenter, Luke Kelly from the Meeting Place in Longwarry. He's going to jump on Thursday night at 5 p.m. So make sure you tune in and show him a world of support, guys. That would be fabulous. We've got 4 more minutes to chit chat before I can show you my finished product of my custard, which I would like to hang about and do that before you go. Who's got rhubarb in the garden? Does anybody grow rhubarb? We have 2 crowns at the community garden. If anybody is looking to have a bit of a try and a bit of a bake with it, I have raided it today because the crown of rhubarb that I have in my garden that I got from a local cafe last year, you're best not to touch it for the first 3 years. Just to, Ben's saying hike is on Friday and a special at 8 p.m. tonight. So make sure you go have your dinner and then jump back on at 8 o'clock tonight because there's a special on. You don't want to miss out on that. All right. We've got 3 minutes left to go on our custard. I think I'm all talked out. So I'm going to let you go and I will post a photo in the comments about my rhubarb crumble. See you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ash from The Conscious Jungle. If you want to join my Facebook page, Thermo Mixing with The Conscious Jungle, I'd love to have you on board and join in the conversation. Happy Monday night.